This meeting is being recorded. Welcome to our Monday night team call. It is Monday, June 7th, yay, 2021. And we have such an awesome training set up for our team tonight. This is being recorded so we can share it with our team that isn't able to hop on tonight so they can benefit from this, or we can watch it again. I hope you have notebook and pen ready for an awesome training that Katie Woods is going to give us, and Chris Hagel. I would love for you to do the introduction tonight.
I would be honored. I'm honored to introduce my friend Katie. We met, Katie was in nursing school, and her then fiance, my adopted son, I'm his California mom, thought that Juice Plus would be a really good thing for her to do. So she politely listened, and it took a little bit of time, but she came around. And then what was really cool was while she was in school, and I can't remember exactly what you were doing, but Katie, you did some kind of paper on whole food nutrition, or maybe even on our capsules. I can't remember, but I remember she got a really good grade on it. And I think she got a little hooked at that point, but it still took a while for her to come around. But she was in nursing school. She became a NICU nurse, which is huge. So you know the size of her heart, her intelligence and her vulnerability and her love. I mean, she's just an awesome person. So she's married to my adopted son, Corey. And she has Emmett and London and a little one on the way. And I'm just super excited to introduce her and hear what she has to say for social media training. So there you go.
Yay. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Yeah, she's still my California mom when I explain who she is. So, yeah, so it's kind of funny how I started, because I really, I shared it with a couple people, didn't really want to do the whole thing. And so it wasn't until I was pregnant with London, my first, and then he was born, that I realized, wow, I really hate going to work and missing out on all these really cool things. And so am I still spotlighted? I'm sorry, I kind of switched. Okay, cool. And so I realized I wanted to do this business and actually put an effort and do this business so I could get out of where I was working. I loved working with babies, but I hated the PTO. We had to put in like vacation time, like half a year early, and you might not get it because your seniority and your senior, the word seniority just drove me crazy, because I got it, I understand it, but I didn't want to live under that. And so anyways, I started telling Chris I wanted to do more with Juice Plus, and she had mentioned social media. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll talk to Corey, my husband, it's not a big deal, like, sure. And then I talked to him, and he just like responded like way more strongly than I expected. He's like, oh no. So you don't want to be one of those people like that spams everyone. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't want to be one of those people. And so I went back to Chris and I was like, okay, well, we'll do this business, but I'm not going to do like the whole social media thing. I'll post a little bit, but I'm not going to like really do it. And now I'm talking to you today on social media. So apparently I did something with it. And just to like paint a picture, my life's kind of crazy. Like 2 little ones, 3 and under. I'm gonna have 3 and under in November. And my husband's in the military, so once a week he's gone for a whole week. I'm parenting by myself, load the kids up in the car, go to the gym. Like I'm responsible. I grocery shop. Like it's just kind of crazy. So I do all that in the span of my day, and I just find little pockets of time. It doesn't have to be a lot, because little pockets add up. Like Danielle and I were talking before this, little touches on people adds up over time. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to share my screen. I think it'll be easy, but you never know. Okay, I think I'm sharing it. So you guys can still hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we can see.
Okay, perfect. So let's make network marketing cool again. The reason why I have that title is just because I feel like network marketing kind of got a bad rap for a little while. There are these things that are kind of like cliche network marketing things that when taken away off of social media, we can make it just be more professional and make it just give us more respect as network marketers. And so that's how, we want to hold ourselves, because it is we might be on our personal account, but the moment you start posting about your business, I think it actually kind of becomes a business account in a way, right? I still want you to talk about personal stuff, but you do have to hold that, like, your content to a little higher standard, just knowing that people, when they see you, they're also going to see this business. And so I know people, if you do not have Instagram, this is kind of centered around Instagram. And I'll tell you why I like Instagram for new connections and new relationships. And I think it is very beneficial for this business, because I've actually gotten a lot of customers and a few reps through social media, but not through Facebook, through Instagram. And so Instagram is a place where strangers meet and become friends. And Facebook is a place where you connect with people you're already friends with. So I don't know how many people get a friend request. Sorry, I'm gonna go back, get a friend request. And it's just like this awkward, like, I don't know this person on Facebook. Should I add them? You can stalk them a little bit, find out who your mutual friends are, how they know you. I do that on Facebook, but when someone follows me on Instagram, I'm like, oh, cool, a new follower, like, ding, new follower, that's cool. So it's just kind of a different vibe, I guess. And so I'll go into that more later, but I also use social media as a way to get people's contact info. So, for example, Melissa and I were at a coffee shop, and these young girls, they were connecting with me, and I was connecting with them over decaf coffee. It's a long story, but it's like a specific kind of decaf. And Melissa just threw out the business. We have a really cool business that we do. If you guys are interested, can I get your numbers, or we can get your cell phone numbers and, reach out to you. And they kind of just tensed up a little bit. You could tell they were slightly uncomfortable. And the moment that I mentioned, I keep switching it over and I'm so sorry. The moment that I mentioned, I was like, actually, can I just get your Instagrams? Do you guys have Instagram? They immediately loosened up and they gave me their Instagrams. And now, have you ever gotten a phone number from someone and you text them and they're not interested, and it's kind of like that awkward fizzle out where you can't text them a year later and be like, hey, how are you? How's your family? I only met you once, but I'm trying to connect with you. It's just really uncomfortable. So a way to kind of bypass that is to get their social media, because now these two girls, whether they may not show interest right now, they're pretty young. I think newly in college, or just, beginning of college, which isn't, always too young, but they might not be interested in the business right now, but it's a way I can stay connected with them and their pictures and interact with their stories and grow that relationship in a very non-awkward way. And then eventually, could present this opportunity, right? So it's just a way to make connections and not be really awkward and disconnected, I guess is a way to say it. So next one, be consistent. We all know how it feels when you post and you just don't get any traction, but I promise you, just post on your story, on your profile, your page. People look, and not everyone sees your stuff. So that's why you need to be consistent and do it a lot. That way, when people hop on, they do see your stuff. It just might not be every single day, but that way you're on their minds. And just be consistent. I promise you, it pays off to be consistent on social media. The next slide. So it's really funny. I don't want to have the persona that social media is fake, right? I feel like I'm very open and honest about the rawness of life, but people also want to see pretty pictures. That's why they buy magazines. That's why they hire photographers. They don't want, you just don't want to look at ugly pictures. That's just how it is. So here are some ways to take pretty pictures. Is the first or the last hour before sunset, or the first hour after sunrise. You can have just really pretty lighting outside. And an idea is to get a couple outfits, start with your hair down, take some pictures, change your outfit, do your hair up, just do a bunch of pictures in one day, so that you don't have to keep doing that every single day. So you kind of store up pictures to post. Another one is aerial pictures. I'll show you what that looks like. It's just very aesthetically pleasing. Avoid manual zoom. So iPhone cameras or cell phone cameras, they are pretty amazing compared to obviously what we used to have, but they're not a camera. So don't like zoom in really far and get this like kind of blurry picture. First person photography, I think I made that term up, but I'll show you what it looks like. It just makes the viewer feel like they're in your eyes, right? So they see a picture of your feet or your hands, or your hand holding a mug, just I'll show you what it looks like, but I think that's also pretty, it just puts them in your shoes. Portrait mode, I don't know if other phones besides iPhone have portrait mode, but if you have an iPhone, get used to using portrait mode. It's a really good way to get clear pictures, and it just makes it look a lot prettier. Selfie ideas. So for us women, these are a couple of good ones. Laughing, like with your sunglasses on, or kind of like pulling your sunglasses down and playing like, it's like kind of like flirting a little bit, like looking over your sunglasses, playing with your hair, your chin on your hand, or holding a coffee cup, or Chris, a wine glass, whatever. I hope you're laughing because you're all muted. So, so that's assumption suggestions. Also Pinterest. So if I'm too lazy to take a good picture, or if I want to post a recipe, but I'm in a rental and my kitchen isn't like this glorious, immaculate farmhouse, I take a picture off of Pinterest that I can save. I don't screenshot because sometimes they are copyrighted and I don't want to steal their work. So I make sure I can save them. I save it and I edit it to my liking, and then I post that for my recipe instead of like taking a picture from my house, because I just don't like, to me, I don't like the way my kitchen looks. I don't, I just don't think it's as aesthetically pleasing. So that's what I do to make prettier pictures as well. I don't know if anyone saw my my pregnancy announcement for my third, but those tulips and the I wish I had the picture, but you can go to my social media and find it. That's all from Pinterest, and that's not real tulips. That was a picture I took and then I cut and paste. So it's pretty amazing what you can do with Pinterest and Canva. Okay, so the first one is the aerial picture I told you about. You look like an idiot because you're like standing really tall and holding your camera over your head and just hoping you get a good picture. But I think it just does an aesthetically pleasing picture. The first person photography is kind of that wine bottle in the middle. And it's just showing, it's like you're seeing it from my eyes almost. And then the one on the right, it's not the golden hour, but I have a salt lamp and it gives a really pretty like glow. And so I take some selfies with that lighting. So it's just trying to find the right lighting in your house or in your, wherever you're at. And you kind of feel vain because you're like taking a bunch of pictures of yourself and moving around. But at the end of the day, like it's 2 minutes of looking like a silly person and you get a good picture. And that's kind of what you do, want pretty pictures for social media. I think being more raw, like visually, I post a lot of pictures and stuff on my story that I don't care if they're as pretty. I mean, if you've ever seen my story, I look like a hobo half the time, but when it's on my profile, I like it to look good. Make it easy. So our company actually has really good pictures and really good captions even. So make it easy on yourself. Once a week, twice a week. I don't know if they'll have enough for twice a week, but once a week, just steal one of their pictures and use their caption, and that can be your post. I sometimes struggle figuring out how to post about Juice Plus in a non-threatening way. Not struggle, but I just try to figure out more creative ways to post about it. And I think that they do a really good job with their captions, and you can always change Juice Plus to like plant powders or whatever you call it. So I say flirt with your audience because social media is just, it's a way to interact with people and be playful. Maybe flirt's not the right word, but just be playful. So I posted this caption: when you're rocking the jacket your husband doesn't like, but you're so warm and cozy that you don't feel his icy comments. It's not my favorite, the audacity. So I just kind of poking fun a little bit. Obviously, this isn't a point of contention, me and my husband. I don't really care, that That's a little twinge of like, why don't you like this jacket? But anyways, it's just being flirty with your pictures, with your captions, just being playful and fun and just not taking yourself so seriously. Social media, I think people, especially my generation, they want you to be more raw and honest, and they want to see all of it, right? They don't want to just see your fitness page and your good, like the good sides of like where you struggle. Like if you had health issues in the past you struggled with, like talk about that, talk about the hospital. There are people who understand that and would appreciate hearing that side of it and knowing that they weren't alone. So flirt with your audience, but also don't take yourself seriously. 5 senses. So, and if you have questions, we can just maybe type them into the comments and then we can go over them at the end or just ask them at the end. So 5 senses, kind of when you're writing social media, you don't have to be an author, but you can make your posts suck your audience in. And so an easy way to do that is using senses. So instead of just saying beach day today for this picture, tell me what you smelled, tell me if you ate something, tell me what you heard. So I have an example on the next page and I want you to maybe practice like revamping this on your own or a different post even. But this was mine. I can smell the salt in the air, waves are crashing, the sun is warming up my skin. It feels so good. And that delicious ice cream shop off the boardwalk is calling my name. Honey lavender is magical. And then I tagged, so this is also something we'll talk about. I tagged the ice cream place. I tagged my swimsuit, where I got my swimsuit from. So those are actual companies. And then a lot of times they post you in their story when you tag them. So that's where strangers see your content and they might start following you based off of if your page is aesthetically pleasing, if they like what you write, etc. And then tagged little things, right? And hashtags, we are going to get to that. But those are very important, mostly for Instagram. They don't really work for Facebook, like they do for Instagram. So hashtags, like I said, hashtags on Facebook are usually only beneficial for business pages. They do, when you click on them, they do probably bring you to like when your friends have used the comments or the hashtag. But the whole point of using social media, I think, is to meet new people, right? Social media is a vast network. And if we're only keeping it to our friends, we're missing so many interactions that we could be having with strangers. So that's why I personally choose Instagram. If I post on Facebook, I don't use hashtags because people don't really use hashtags on Facebook. And I used to do this, so I'm really not targeting anyone, but if you want to do a hashtag to I was talking to Melissa about this. If you want to do a hashtag to add some like the hyperlink to kind of add the, I think she said to make it stand out, make those words stand out. That's totally fine. If you want to use them on Facebook, I do not care. It's up to you. But like hashtagging and then like random sentences, I used to do that all the time, but it just doesn't work. And to people in my generation, it kind of looks a little silly because it looks like you don't know how to use hashtags. So I'm just trying to explain, like, I guess for my generation where I'm coming from with that. But like I said, it doesn't turn me off to the post. It just is like, do you know how to use hashtags? Because I didn't know until I learned, right? And then I learned that that's not necessarily what they're used for. It's used like a search engine. So I can go into Instagram and type hashtag gluten-free recipe and a bunch of posts will pop up of gluten-free recipes, which is really cool. Or I actually have like 3 pretty good Instagram friends who I found through my dog's breed, wire-haired pointing griffons. People love animals. People love dogs. Dogs on Instagram have more followers than me most usually. So like tapping into that network, or even like cats, or I don't know, there's some cat hashtags, but I mean, there's niches of everything really. So tap into those. It's a search engine as a way to find different people who also use those tags. It's really, really cool. So it's kind of like Instagram's Google in a way. And that's also, let me see. So this is one reason I prefer Instagram over Facebook, just because of that search engine. I feel like I can save, I save recipes this way. I try to hit those niches. So I post a lot of gluten-free recipes. And I'll show you how to save posts, but the whole goal is for people to save your posts and to reshare your posts, because that's what boosts the algorithm, and then more people see your stuff. So I'll go into the saving posts in like, I think 1 or 2 slides. So provide useful content. Something that I learned, I like Ray Higdon. He's a social media guy. I like him for some stuff. I wasn't a fan of all of his teaching, but some of the stuff I really took to heart and learned from. So providing useful content. You want to provide content whether or not they purchase your product, because if you're offering your product and they don't want to buy it, then what keeps them coming back to your page? Unless they're friends with you, right? But this is kind of more for strangers. If you don't post anything of use, then people kind of tend to tune you out a little bit. Sadly, that's just our culture, and especially social media. And so some ideas is recipes, education. What are you good at? Do you know how to change a tire? Because I don't. So if you post a video of that, I would find that very useful. I think about that every time I'm driving on the highway. So other products you use, literally tell me all of the products you use. Like, tell me what you use for your hair. If you're changing, or if you're trying new stuff, right? Like, this is what I use for my curls. This is what I use for my makeup. This is what I use for, I don't know, my oil I cook with, my butter. People just, I mean, it's just kind of weird, but people love to know all that stuff. So I've marketed myself that way. And do you know how many people reach out to me and ask me, hey, what do you use for this? Hey, have you been liking this hair stuff? And it's just a way to start conversations, because that builds relationship, and then that eventually builds trust, right? So I have, if we can get to this, I will do this at the end, but it's a way to kind of like brainstorm topics for your posts. Actually, Danielle, did you post? No, Donna posted a really good social media picture about what you could post throughout the summer. So maybe we'll just leave it at that, and then I can maybe we'll just see if I have time to do that exercise, but I'm going to keep going. So are you too busy for social media? So I try to paint a picture a little bit about what my life looked like. So this is kind of how I get through it. Focus on target clientele on social media. So specifically on Instagram, I think you can do it on Facebook. It's just not as easy. You can save people's posts. And so what I've made, and I'll show you on the next slide, it's like a dream team folder, and I save people's posts or people's pages, and that's who I focus on. So if I really want to just build this relationship with these few girls that I would like to work with maybe one day, then I save them to this group, and then I don't just go to Instagram and go through that scroll hole, because I cannot even tell you how many times I did that with this presentation, trying to remember why I was on social media in the first place, because I was trying to find pictures. And so an easy way to do that is to go right to that folder. Oh, here are the 3 girls I want to focus on. I will look at their stories. I'll interact with their stories. I'll comment on their posts. And that's like 5 minutes at most. So that's a really good way to do it. Fit social media into time windows throughout the day. So let's see, answer direct messages in the grocery line, comment on 3 of your ideal clients' posts in a waiting room, post on social media when you're having your morning coffee. You can actually save your posts on Instagram. And what I do is when I have like an hour of free time, I edit a bunch of pictures and write a bunch of captions. And I have like 12 different posts saved on my Instagram right now. So if I'm really feeling lazy that day, or if I just need a quick post because I'm trying to, take time off, I just post that pre-made post. So you can work on stuff and save them for later. I know there's a way you can actually schedule them to post, but I just kind of pick what I feel is right for the day. So this is how you save it. I don't know if you want to take a screenshot of this, but Instagram, you go to those 3 lines on the top of your profile, the top right, and then you click saved, and then you go to this one. And I already saved on my kind of people, but you can go to the plus sign and then create your folder, and it'll ask for you to name it. Okay, so then I get out of that. I'm scrolling. I see a girl who I think would be a good fit for my team. So I click on that little banner at the bottom, and then I click that save to collection, and then I click my collection, my kind of people. And that is a simple way to save specific team, or even just specific customers you want to, like, even if you've reached out to customers, you can put one for follow-ups. I've actually never thought about that until just now. And now I'm going to do that because I forget who I've talked to about Juice Plus. And so I can easily save their profile as a follow-up, right? And then I can go back to my messages and remember what we were talking about and follow up with them. You can also save recipes here. If you want to use it, I use a lot of recipes I find on Instagram. And so you can make a recipes folder. There's really no limit to the folders you can make. So social media is your workplace. So just like I said in the beginning, yes, I think everyone should use their personal account for Juice Plus. I don't, if you have like a separate business account for Juice Plus, I just don't know. I think you'll get more followers and more interaction if it's a personal page. I personally think that. I've noticed that with my other friends with other social media or network marketing companies. They make a business page, and I never really interact with their business page. Even if I'm interested in the products, I always interact with their personal page because I care about their kids and where they're moving to and all that stuff. So I vote, my personal opinion is that you just do one page, and it's your personal one, but you also have to realize that when you talk about Juice Plus, it becomes your professional one as well, right? So be professional, just say no to controversy. I know this election year was crazy. Just trying not to, my husband had it, like, there's so many times you want to just comment on posts, right? But it's just not worth it at the end of the day, because social media is not a place where minds change. It's a place where, like, people just go back and forth at each other. So since my business is tied to my personal page, I just didn't engage in that stuff. And that's just, once again, my personal opinion, but I see that that's beneficial, because guess what? If you say a comment about whatever, one side of the argument, then you potentially, depending on how heated it is, you could lose half the population based off of like something that may not be a reason for them to not hear about Juice Plus, right? Like, that's kind of a silly reason for them not to have a relationship with you, look into healing. It's just, for me, my goal and my mission is to heal people, right? Whether you believe one thing or another thing. So that's kind of where I stand on that. Like attracts like. So I do post raw, vulnerable stuff because people, especially my generation, they really appreciate that. Like, I'll talk about this later, but it's not like uncomfortable oversharing, because I think you guys have seen that as well on social media, or attention seeking oversharing, but just a way to be like, hey, I'm messed up in this way too, and this is kind of where I'm at, and there's some hope. But I just want you to know that, like, I don't want social media to be a place where you don't know me, right? Like, I want you to know who I am and what we've gone through. And then be your brand. So we are Healthy Living. We do like education recipes. You can post that you have donuts. I posted on Happy National Donut Day because donuts are my jam. But also, like, we are trying to be healthy. And so if you're kind of struggling with your health, then that might be a way to, if someone's really sick, right, and they talk about a thing to help them not be sick, it's hard for people to believe that, right? I've heard multiple people not try Juice Plus in the past because the family recommending it was always sick. And it's like, okay, well, if you're always sick, try to figure out, Juice Plus is great. It doesn't prevent everything. So go further. Why am I struggling? Why am I sick? And then also, don't only be Healthy Living. So if I look on your page, I shouldn't see only workouts and only recipes. I should see everything. I should see your daily life. I should see your kids. I should see your vacations. I should see, I don't know, some struggles, right? In a well done way. Like, it should be a rainbow of color of like different aspects of who you are, and not just like workouts and healthy recipes, if that makes sense. Because yes, we want to be our brand, but then sometimes you get you kind of get tuned out when you post the same thing all the time. Copycatting. I found this out the hard way. Apparently not all reps like their work to be used and copied. So definitely if you do want to copy someone's stuff, ask permission. I think our team's really good about not caring one way or the other if you copy their stuff. I don't care. But other reps in different teams, they do care. And so just asking, hey, can I use that your caption, or even like, hey, can I use that idea, right? Because they might have had a good idea, but it might be executed. You might execute it a little differently. So if you do end up, if they say yes and they're fine with you copying their stuff, maybe use your own words. So yeah, use like the foundation of what they've said, but change the words to what you would normally say, to kind of use your tone of voice, because your audience knows your tone. They kind of know when it's like a copied sales post versus your own words. So kind of like, high school rules, rewrite what your friend wrote. And then also retain picture quality. So you have no idea how many times I see people copy stuff, but they also copy the picture, but it's like either a screenshot or the picture is so degraded that you can't, like, it's just a bad picture. And so I just say, like, if someone posts a recipe, or a picture of fruits and vegetables, and the picture is pixelated, it just looks kind of fuzzy, like a Xerox of a Xerox of a Xerox. Find your own picture. That's one way to make the post a little different than your friends, and the picture's better quality, right? Because we want pretty pictures. We don't want it to be Xeroxed a million times. So yeah, copycatting. Let's see. Stories are vital. So stories are at the top of your social media. They're at the top for both Facebook and Instagram, but that's where my generation lives. We see posts here and there, but a lot of times we just look at people's stories. And so I usually, like, if you click on when someone has their story, you can click comment. And then I usually either send one of those emojis, or I even say something like, oh, you're on vacation. That's so fun. Where are you? And actually start a conversation that way. So stories are the main way I interact with my friends and followers on social media. So celebrate. In my stories, I celebrate my team. And I prep my audience. So I made these on Canva. Partner win in the next story. That was about my partners getting their Partner Plus or the QSC, or the next one is a customer win. Because instead of just posting a random screenshot of text messages, and also be posting testimonies of your customers. If your customer tells you how much they like your stuff, you need to post that on your social media. I do it on my stories mostly, but I do it in bigger posts, because testimonies go so far, because you don't know what people are struggling with. They might see a testimony and they're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I was struggling with that. So that's a really beneficial way to do it. So it takes time. So technology takes time to learn. I can't go into Reels right now, but I can always do another one on Reels if you guys are interested. Reels are Instagram's kind of video things that they do. And Instagram rewards you when you use new technology. So if you do Reels, then that kind of boosts your algorithm. Just for future reference, I absolutely hate algorithms, and they're constantly changing. So it's hard to like stay in tune with that. But just know, if there's new technology on Facebook or Instagram, use it, because they reward you for that. And a really good account to follow on Instagram is Jamie Starr. She talks a lot about small business kind of network marketing stuff, and also how to do posts on social media, how to use the new technology, etc. Don't take yourself so seriously. So that was my plug before. I only have 2 looks, trophy wife, or like I live under a bridge, and demand riddles for people to cross it. I literally posted that because guess what, guys? It's really true. Sometimes I look fly or really, really good, and sometimes I look horrible. And that's just life, right? We can all get dolled up. And so just don't take yourself so seriously. Like, poke fun. Don't be offended easily. It's just being lighthearted, right? Social media isn't a place to be super duper serious. But also I do raw, honest posts, and I am vulnerable, because guess what? That's relatable. My generation, they want to see that you're honest and open. And when when you're open about your struggles, people resonate with that. And so someone might not resonate. I mean, I talked a lot about my early marriage stuff, right? And I kind of posted this just so you guys could go look at my page and read it. But I didn't talk about, this is like a pond that Corey and I always walked on. And when we walked, we'd have conversations, and conversations a lot of times led to fighting because we were trying to figure out newlyweds. And I didn't post what I called him. I didn't post what he called me. I didn't post like all the in-depth, really uncomfortable details, because that's not the point. The point is to kind of talk about how hard marriage can be sometimes, and to talk about our hope at the end. Like, my faith personally is where my hope lies, and that's what grew our marriage. And so that's where I ended, right? I didn't just leave and me and my husband are still fighting, because that's like, oh, that stinks. And that's kind of like that. I feel like I would feel like I'd get a lot of attention if I posted something like that. I mean, we do fight, right? But not as intense as we used to. And I just don't, it's like, I would feel like I was getting like attention seeking if I left it at that, right? Like, we're in the biggest fight right now. Well, maybe just wait until you're done fighting and then post about how you overcame it. Cause then it's like raw and honest, but then you overcame it. It's like an overcoming story too. Focus not on the number of followers, but how well you know your followers. So a lot of times people promote hacking, like sales hacking for social media, but it's not true, because when you focus on selling, then that you just focus on the wrong thing. You need to focus on serving others and relationship, and that will grow trust, and that will grow relationships, and that will grow your team, and that will grow people trusting you and trying your product. So just focus on the right thing. Our business, I personally do not like cold prospecting. I tried it. I did not like it. I did not feel good about it. And so I just realized I was trying to sell over serving, because I could have reached out to someone and it could have been their worst day ever. They could have lost a parent, a baby, and I'm cold prospecting them and try Juice Plus. So what does that say about our company? So I've decided personally to not do that. So let's sum it up. So summary, a few big points that I want to focus on. And we can answer questions, or maybe we should just do questions now, but there's ways to enhance your caption. So that's with the senses, that's with being playful, being raw and honest, right? There's ways to make your pictures prettier with the golden hour, Pinterest, all of that stuff. We talked about hashtags are very vital for Instagram. They're like a search engine. So definitely use them, but try to use them correctly, specifically for Instagram. You don't need, if you want to use them however you want on Facebook, you can, but Instagram, they have a use. So try to use it that way. And then there are ways to treat social media like our workplace, right? To be professional, to show a lot of different diversity in our content, and to serve instead of sell. And just the last little tidbit, people are so multifaceted. There are a lot of different parts to all of us. We are reps, yes, but we are being, and we're being our brand by posting the wellness and recipes. But you're also a mother, a sister, an aunt, a cook, a baker, a candlestick maker. Just kidding. Actually, no, people do make candles though, and it's pretty cool. You read, you might be a beach bum. What do you do? Who are you? People want to know who you are. That is how you show people the real you. And that's how you build relationship, and that's how you build trust. And that's what grows your team or business. So we can take it off and answer questions. Oh, that's my Instagram. That's a picture I did. I don't know, it was a while back. And I was just really feeling it, so it turned out into a good picture. I was just kind of playing around by myself and looking kind of funny. So how do I unshare my screen? Stop. I did it.
Oh.
Okay.
That
was a lot of information, so much information. And I couldn't hear your feedback, so it's so hard to just keep talking. So do you have questions, or what are your questions?
I do.
Okay.
First of all, it was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I took a ton of notes. I was typing as fast as I could while you were talking. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Right.
My question for you is, how did you learn all of this?
Sadly, I think I just grew up in it, right? I had social media since I was 13. or younger. Like that's just my generation. We had Facebook. Oh yeah, I remember you had to be invited to Facebook. So I had like my high school, my friends' brothers in high school like had to invite me to be it because I was like so young. Like it's just in my, so it's just in my gene, like in my generation. But asking people, right? Like it's a network. And so if you see something on social media that you don't understand, just ask your friend that posted it, hey, how did you post that? Right? Like it's asking questions, it's learning, it's typing into Google, how do you post stories on social media? And there's probably a YouTube video that someone made that shows you how to do it. I learned reels that way because Melissa wanted me to talk about reels at the social media presentation. I'd never done them before. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been avoiding these. So I looked on social media and I asked my friend who does a lot of reels. And so kind of that way. Does that make sense? It's just exploring and taking a half an hour to just explore your social media. I'm better with Instagram than Facebook, honestly. So does that
Okay.
answer?
Yeah, it does. It's perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Katie. I really appreciate all your time and that you shared all
Yeah.
this great stuff with us.
I'm glad it helped. Anyone else have questions? No more questions? Wow.
You did such a good
I
job.
had one question.
Yeah, what's up?
You said you shared testimonials from people, so do you just ask their permission to post
Oh,
it?
yes. Yeah, so I ask permission. I just say, hey, that's a really amazing story. Are you okay if I share that? If I share that, I don't really say on social media, but it's just like, can I, well, sometimes I do. Can I like share a post about that? I'll take your name. I'll take off your name if that makes you more comfortable. And so if they want me to take off their name, then what I do, so Instagram stories, you can do it on Facebook too. Like I said, Instagram's just more user friendly. I like take a screenshot of the text message. I'll just, I don't know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So I try to post it to my story. So I'll just take a screenshot of one right now for Chris. Okay. And then I go to my Instagram and I go to post a story. And let's see. Then it's here, right? Oh no, it's not
No,
gonna
it's
be able
hard
to
to
show.
see the background.
Can't see it.
Okay, I'm gonna take off. Okay, I'm still coming. I'm doing it. Okay, my basement's ugly, so sorry. Can you even see it through this though? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So then you can edit it, right? So I will click like the little typer cursor and then I'll do white and I'll take off her name and like her emoji and stuff and like scribble out her name and then it looks, but make it look more professional. So like really take off all the name, even like the bubble, because when you text or if it's on Instagram, you can see their bubble. I like white all of that out. And then if I put their kid's name and they want me to take that out too, then I just find like a cute emoji or like even like the blue block emojis and just put it over their name. So you can do it, you can post it and it still be aesthetically pleasing, but take names out. I asked for permission and sometimes they say, I don't care if you take my name out, and I might still take out their like profile tag, but I'll leave their picture because you really can't tell who it is, right? So it makes it look like a real person. But that I post a lot of testimonies just because that's our bread and butter. Like our stories are what hooks people. It's what inspires people to try it. So
Well, that's also a testament to
any other
your
questions?
customer. I was going to say it's a testament to your customer care then as
Yeah.
well, that you're
Yeah, it's true.
doing those tests. So you're checking in with your customers and asking about their experience and getting that feedback back from them.
That's a good point. I never thought about that.
Yeah, which is great, right?
Yeah.
That's a little bonus training right there. Right?
Excellent
Do good
point,
customer
yeah.
care to get the feedback
Yeah.
from the customer, so we have something to share on social media.
Yeah.
And the testimonies, and that is powerful because people want that like social proof that whatever it is that you're doing is actually working or making an impact or people are benefiting from.
I say till I'm blue in the face that my customer had their Juice Plus help their iron level, but people can say you're lying. So if they see a text thread with 2 different bubbles, like they're like, oh, it's real, it's a real person saying that.
Yeah.
Instead of you just like professing that. So it's kind of like No, I have proof. I promise.
Yeah.
So you do use the words Juice Plus on Instagram?
I do sometimes. I usually say like plant powders. That's kind of like the old network marketing thing where you don't want to be like, if someone asks me what company I work with, I do try to message them. But that's like one of the negative things associated with network marketing. They're like, if they don't say the company name, if they want you to watch a video, it's sketchy, don't do it. So I say like, I work for a company and they're like, oh, like, who is it? And I just say, it's Juice Plus. Have you ever heard of it? Like, I'd love to share more information. And then you get back and forth, I don't know, advice for that. But I just figure like, I try to say plant powders first in my post specifically. I say plant powders or plant concentrates or whole food concentrates.
Mhm.
And then when people, I am like messaging people directly, I do say Juice Plus because I just don't want to be, they feel like it's sneaky. And I just don't want to be sneaky, I guess.
Yeah.
If that
Yeah.
makes sense. So I do say it in other things. I mean, I post the bottles and sorry, I might have to charge it. I do post bottles and all that stuff, but I don't know. I try not to say it a ton.
Yeah.
Because you do want to be the one to give information.
Exactly. Yeah. I probably do something similar where maybe it's now about a 50-50 split between
Yeah.
actually saying Juice Plus every now and again versus probably less, I don't know. I'm not good at math, like 60-40 would that be like
Yeah. 70-30 maybe.
plant powders more than Juice Plus, but every now and then I'll say Juice Plus, but putting it in my stories as well. We are definitely longer than we normally are.
Over. Sorry.
Such a great training. So, I mean, if there are any other questions, I'm sure Katie wouldn't mind answering, but we are recording. So I'm going to post this onto our team page. Definitely any of your team members that were not on tonight, please tag them so they can watch this and benefit from this awesome knowledge that we just, I mean, I've grown my business on social media, and yet I just learned a whole new bunch of stuff from Katie, which was so cool. So things that I want myself to tweak and maybe do a little differently and take a look at what I've been doing. Where can I mix it up? Because it is such a great option to get out there and network and share what we have to offer and meet new people. It's like so inspiring. So thank you, Katie, so much.
Yay. Thank you guys.
Really,
Thank you, Katie.
Thank
I
you,
went long.
Katie. Awesome.
all good. That was so good. I
Yeah.
don't think anybody minded staying on longer than normal to benefit from all your wisdom. So
Perfect.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Janelle.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Chris.
good night, everyone. I will get the recording up as soon as possible.
All right.
All
Good night.
Night.
Night.